Hey, welcome to Coffee Combos.
Are you welcoming me or the listeners?
I'm welcoming all of the above because it's been so long since we've caught up on just regular shit and current events. So I'm excited.
I have a lot of questions for you, but before we get But before we get started on that, I just wanted to say that for the listeners, we really want to bring y'all the best show that we possibly can every week. And we get a lot of 50-50 reviews. A lot of people like us having guests all the time. A lot of people like it just being us. And we just kind of want to know what you guys prefer. Do you like it just us on a weekly basis with an occasional guest? Or do you like the guest? Or do you like a good combination of them? If you guys would just go to our Instagram and comment on any of the pictures, let's say the last picture that's posted, and just let us know what you prefer.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah. I would vote combination, of course.
I mean, of course, because we don't think we're as interesting as what you guys think. So we're like, oh yeah, bring on all the guests. Everybody loves to hear the good conversations. And some of our guests are really, really funny. So I'm kind of about it. But just let us know. And of course, we're going to provide a mix of what people say. So, Kail?
Yes?
I have a lot of questions about Game of Clones, and a lot of other people have sent us tons of direct messages about your adventures with Game of Clones. So please rewind back in life to a year ago and tell everybody about your experience, why you decided to do Game of Clones, and the finale was just yesterday,
Last
right?
night. Yeah. So actually, it's really funny that you say that because one of the guy that I picked just texted me. He wants to be on the podcast. Actually, they all want to be on the podcast. And I said, you know what? We can definitely make this happen because that would be hilarious. So 2 of them live in LA, which is where we'll be, in 2 weeks. So I feel like we should maybe have one on. I don't know why I chose to do Game of Clones. They asked me to do it, and I was like, why would y'all even want me on this freaking show? So really just did it. I wasn't really thinking, I don't think.
That's a pretty typical thing for you.
Yes. I mean, once I got there, I was like, wow, this is more work. You wouldn't think of it this way, but once I got there and was filming for it, I was like, this is more work than I've ever done for Teen Mom or any Marriage Boot Camp or any of the other shows that I've done. It was a lot. And I had a good time doing it. It was kind of frustrating because it was a completely different reality filming setup than I've ever done before. So I was a little frustrated. But the guys were a good time. They were good energy. They were all funny. But then I went through a little phase of being embarrassed that I did it. And I was like, don't post it. I was telling the people don't post it. I'm not doing this. I didn't know it was going to air because obviously it's airing a year freaking later. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, this is so corny. It's funny. So I don't care. But, the finale was last night. The top 3 were Lorenzo, Jalen, and Rico Hundo. And you know what's really funny? Rico knows Dom, and Dom knows Rico. They live in the same town.
Okay, I'm done.
So when I found that out, I literally wanted to crawl into a hole. And Rico went to my alma mater, which is DSU, Del State University. I found out that he went there for a semester, and I was like, wow, this world just keeps getting smaller, and I basically wanted to die. But they're all really funny, so I think we should have one on the podcast.
Definitely. But the funny thing is that I didn't watch the show because I've just been so busy, but from some of the tweets that I've seen, I'm like, I honestly can't even imagine Kail in a dating situation, because I just feel like you're kind of the type of person that would be awkward in a dating situation. So,
Lindsie, I watched myself. I had secondhand embarrassment for myself. First of all, the one day I was in heels for like 13 hours, I walked like a fucking T-Rex. Like, I was literally like, just like a freaking dinosaur walking around. It was horrible. It wasn't cute. And, like, I'm the type of person, too, like, because I'm so awkward and I don't want someone to call me out on my bullshit or call me out on something that's embarrassing, I'll call it out before they do, right? So I, like, would just basically embarrass myself even more by doing that. And just, like, watching myself do that, I'm like, wow, this is, like, no wonder I have 3 baby dads and I can't get a boyfriend, like, or a girlfriend. Like, obviously, I'm a fucking train wreck.
But I will say you're kind of like that in all life aspects, not just dating. So, like, you'll call yourself out before anybody else has the chance to, because it's like a power play for you. It's like, okay, I'm going to call myself out and I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of being able to call me out because, like, I'm very self-aware.
Right. That's true. That is true. But maybe I do it a little bit too much, that I point out something that, like, I call myself out before they do, but they might not have noticed in the first place. I mean, obviously everyone saw me walking like a dinosaur. God damn. But other than, I was so embarrassed.
Wait.
I literally just like, what?
Can you explain what type of heels these were? Because I'm trying to get like a good like visual
First
image.
of all, they were like chunky heels. They were like my most comfortable ones that I wear to like be in heels in a long time. But I wasn't expecting to be hair and makeup ready for 12 hours and only film 3 hours of that. You know what I mean? So, like, I wasn't allowed outside of the hotel room. Any food that I wanted had to be delivered. Like, I wasn't allowed outside in the real world. Like, I just wasn't allowed. So, and neither were they, I don't think. But I was by myself. So, I'm hair and makeup ready in these freaking heels, walking around this little Airbnb, like, and then I had to, like, go just, like, walk and walk and walk for these scenes of me walking. And so by time they probably got the shot that they wanted, I was limping. I was providing earthquakes for everybody in LA. Like, it was just not good. I even tried to like sneak and take my heels off, and then they noticed and they were like, you need to put your heels back on. And I was like, but no one's going to look at my feet.
But this is not Teen Mom. And this is like...
This is not Teen Mom.
This is dating. So...
This was not dating. Those dates were like 15 minutes total.
I would love to have one of the guys from the show to get the dating perspective and the other perspective of filming with you to see what he has to say about the experience and how he felt that you looked while you were walking in heels, because that would just be interesting for me to engage in that conversation. And I think that people would also like to hear about the T-Rex that was tramping through Los Angeles. So
I should be in a museum. Honestly, though, I should have picked Jalen. Jalen was like so sweet. He had a master's degree. He went for international business. I love to travel. I love all that type of stuff. Like, he literally would have been perfect. I don't know why I picked Rico. I think he reminded me so much of Chris that I was like...
That's why you picked him, because I stalked Rico last night on Instagram.
And he resembles Chris, I feel like.
It's like the teeth, the hair, the skin,
dreads,
like the skin color.
Yeah,
it's
everything.
just everything. So
yeah, so I think that's where I was at with that. But honestly, like, Jalen is so cute. I don't know. I should have... Lorenzo was really nice, but I don't know that we had anything in common. Honestly, we should just have all three. We should interview them all three separately to get their takes.
I die. Like, I die. I need to go back and watch the footage so I can get like a
Please
true
don't, because honestly,
visual.
I'm embarrassed. Oh my gosh. But now I'm looking back and I'm like, it was funny. But anyway, I'm sure you guys have heard the statistic about how most women are wearing the wrong size bra. I believe it too, because most companies don't even have many sizes to choose from, and everybody's bodies are different.
ThirdLove fixed that problem, though. So now you can go online and take their fun quiz that will tell you what size you actually are. And they have over 70 sizes, including half sizes, so that one will fit perfectly for you. I love the t-shirt bra, but they have more than just bras. Their essential organic robe and pajama sets are also amazing.
And a super huge bonus is that there's no more awkward fitting room experiences. I personally love the 24/7 coverage bra because I am very busty and I'm always spilling out over the top of my bra. So this one makes it easy and that doesn't happen anymore. They're all so comfortable, soft, and smooth.
Plus, you have 60 days to wear it, wash it, and put it to the test. And if you don't love it, just return it and they'll wash it and donate it to a woman in need, which is very cool. ThirdLove knows that there's a perfect bra for everyone, so right now they are offering our listeners 15% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/coffee now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/coffee for 15% off today. So moving on to the next thing that I have questions about, catching up on Teen Mom, which I have also not watched for like the past 3 weeks, but it is on my DVR to watch and I will catch up. But give me the updates on what's going on, what's aired, and kind of like where you are. Because I know the child support thing has been a heavy storyline in real life and on TV. So give us the details.
Okay. So let me start by saying that just watching this season, I did miss most of last week's episode, but so far this season, the timeline is not accurate. So a lot of the things are out of order, I've noticed. But last week, I think I was bitching about child support, and I actually said something about not getting Vivi, which is Joe's daughter, a Christmas gift, which I shouldn't have fucking said that. Like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, and I was obviously a piece of shit for that whole episode. And basically at the end, like, V had texted me or called me or something and asked me to, like, go talk to Joe about, like, all the child support stuff, and, like, I wasn't really having it. But Becky, one of my best friends, she was like, no, you need to have a conversation. Like, you need to do this. Like, you can't be petty. You need to grow up and, you know, have this adult conversation. So I think by the end of the episode, I was kind of just like, yeah, V and Becky are correct, and I'm being childish. So I don't know what happens in the next episode because I don't get to see them before they air. But I think it's just me, a whole lot of me being childish and angry about Joe filing for child support.
Well, I will say from just watching from like earlier episodes in the season, and I can't really speak on the last few because I haven't seen them, but you know, the situation that was filmed with Javi and Lauren at the soccer field, I did see, you know, just knowing you try to not talk and it's kind of like awkward because you try not to have the conversations and you're like an avoider, but then it comes off as hostile. And then I saw a clip that MTV had put on Twitter of you, it must have been from one of the most recent weeks where Isaac had a basketball tryouts or something and you were completely avoiding Joe. And I think that the way it comes across on camera, you're not intending for it to be mean.
Hostile.
You're just trying to avoid the situation, which makes it look completely hostile.
Right. No, I do think that is accurate because I don't like confrontation as much as I run my mouth, and you know what? I'm just like a walking, talking contradiction. So it's, I mean, like I don't like confrontation, but also I just avoid. So I think I did see the scene that you're talking about, and I do think that it came off a lot different than it was in person. I just didn't want to see him or talk to him. So it came off mean. And I get a lot of comments about like, oh, you're doing it in front of Isaac or whatever. And I think that's
what you're trying to avoid, though. I think you're trying to avoid the hostility in front of him. So you're literally trying to escape your own self.
I don't think that day, I mean, I wasn't like, oh, you know, telling Isaac to walk with me or like, don't talk to your dad or I'm not talking to your dad. It's not like that. Like, yeah, I'm not talking to him, but I'm also, despite how it came across on camera, like I think Isaac knew that there was something going on and I was ignoring him, but I don't think that Isaac thought that I was being angry or malicious, like intentionally. I don't think that. I mean, I definitely think the way that I handled the whole thing on TV sucks because Isaac will see that one day and like all the things that I had to say. But I mean, Joe came over here, he picked Isaac up from the bus stop, and Isaac made him come over here to get something or whatever, and we had a conversation and it was fine, and you know, everything kind of is falling into place with that. So I kind of just feel like everything is a learning curve. And I think it is actually helpful for me to watch this shit on TV because I can be like, wow, like I acted like an asshole and now I'm going to handle this better. You know what I mean? Or
sometimes
next time I know.
you don't get it. Like sometimes you don't get it until you
see
watch it back and you're like, oh, wow, that's what I was doing. And I didn't really realize that it was perceived that way. And I didn't realize that I was really acting that way. I will say that it goes the same for the podcast. Sometimes I will say something on here that is not intended the way that it comes across. And then it's like too late. And then people are taking things, I won't say like completely out of context, but people will take things the way that they want to hear them. And, you know, rightfully so. Everybody has a right to how they feel and their own opinions. But sometimes you're kind of like, oh, wow, you know, maybe I should have said or done things a little bit different. And that's the cool thing about, you know, being in this world, in this, you know, TV, broadcasting, whatever, you become very self-aware of your bullshit.
Right. Yeah. I've definitely said some things on this podcast that I'm like, wow, what the fuck? Like, why did I do that? But you know what? I will say that like people comment a lot, and I'm sure this happens to you too, or like even just with the podcast, people be like, oh, your son will see that one day. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Your son will see that one day. Yeah, I think I'm fully aware that he will see some of the things that we do and say, but I also think that as long as once he does see it or they see it, all three of them, as long as I'm in a good place with their fathers at that time when he sees it, I don't think the past is going to matter as much. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if this is coming out like as I'm the way that I'm thinking it. So like say me and Joe honestly, Joe and I have been through hell and back. So I do feel like by time we are in a good place now, and by time Isaac is older and we're still in a good place, I don't think the bullshit from his childhood, that's not coming out the way that I want it to come out. How do you get what I'm saying? Yeah,
I do. I think that what you're trying to say is that all the stuff that's played out, and I think people in real life and their real life can relate to this as well. By the time it gets time to address whatever happened, I feel like you're going to be in a different place. So you're going to be able to explain that better. And to be honest, it's really what everybody is going through in co-parenting situations and just in life in general. I mean, I think of the times whenever I watch that little clip, I think of the times that I'm mad at Will, you know, and we're married and living under the same roof and raising a son. I think about the times that I'm pissed off at him and I'm icing him out. And I know that, you know, Jackson is very aware that I am avoiding Will in the kitchen when he's trying to make a sandwich and I'm trying to clean the dishes. He's very aware that mom's mad. And, you know, he will come and ask me sometimes, you know, why was daddy like being that way? Or why were you avoiding dad? Or, you know, whatever. And I think in a lot of ways, it's good for our kids because it teaches them that life isn't perfect. And I don't want Jackson to think that, you know, life is just this smooth riding train, you know, that's never going to have a hiccup because that's not realistic.
No, I mean, I've definitely seen, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I do, to your point, like I've seen parents who never argue in front of their children ever, 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 ever. And then they get divorced when the kid is like 19 and they're like, my world just fell apart because they had no fucking clue. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad or better or worse than what we do, but I do think that not necessarily arguing like I've argued in front of my kids, but like for you and Will to like amicably be in the same place at the same time and kind of like, yeah, maybe be avoiding, but also you can still be in the same place at the same time and you guys are going to work through it and still remain under the same roof. So that does teach Jackson, okay, well, you guys aren't arguing and screaming at each other. You're kind of like doing what you got to do, take your time apart and then work it out. And then you guys will be good the next day. So I do think, to your point, that is probably
I mean, because you're basically selling your kid a dream that doesn't exist if you're just acting like everything's perfect. And
right.
For so long, I feel like when Jackson was born, I wanted everything to just be so perfect, but it's not realistic, and it's setting them up for failure because they're going to try to have whatever that is that you're showing them, likely, and it's not going to be something that's sustainable.
Right.
And it's living a fake life.
Right. No, I can agree with that.
But I am cheering you on from the sidelines, and I know that you're going to do the right thing for all of your kids, and people are just, witnessing the dysfunction that plays out on Teen Mom, and it's really no different than any other dysfunction that's going on in other people's lives. Yours is just broadcast.
Okay, I need to talk to you guys about how happy I am that spring is on the way. Now that winter blues are coming to an end and we're getting better weather, I want to talk to you guys about how you can feel your healthiest, and that is with Care of Vitamins. So Care of is a monthly subscription vitamin service that delivers completely personalized vitamin and supplement packs right to your door.
It's such a great service. Over 90% of people fall short of the vitamins that they need, and Care of will help make up for that. And Care of makes the process so easy. Just grab your pack and go. If you're going to work or traveling, you don't have to pack bulky bottles or worry about forgetting anything. Perfect for an on-the-go lifestyle, which we all have. You can modify your subscription at any time. It's super easy and convenient.
So you just go online and you take a fun quiz, which will allow Care of to customize your vitamin packs for your personal needs and lifestyle, so it's personalized just for you. Also, a portion of every sale goes to the Good Plus Foundation, which provides expectant mothers in need with valuable prenatal vitamins, which is really awesome.
For 50% off your first month of personalized Care of vitamins, go to takecareof.com and enter coffee50. That's 50% off your first month of Care of vitamins at takecareof.com and enter code coffee50. Speaking of dysfunction, though, I want to follow up on the woman from Utah that went missing, and then her phone was found in Idaho. Remember this? Kelsey Berreth?
I do remember the story. Yes.
So I knew whenever I heard about the phone being in Gooding, Idaho, or Utah, wherever it was. I think it was in Idaho is where it was, because I think she was from Utah. I can't remember, but I knew when that phone was there. I told Will, I was like, okay, the phone's there because this man has got somebody else involved to drive that phone there to make people think that she has like gone and escaped and ran away. And it's probably somebody that he is sleeping with, because I watch so much Lifetime that this is what really happens in real life. And so that is what happened. And the girlfriend that he was seeing was the one that was sending the text messages, the one that disposed of the phone, the one that had been interviewed, had lied in interviews, and then ended up getting caught, ended up coming clean. Now she's going to testify against him in court. I cannot believe that he was having conversations with this other woman, and the conversations were about killing Kelsey. And he tried to get the other woman to kill her on 3 different occasions in different ways. Like,
and she agreed?
Well, so she never followed through with what he was trying to get her to do. So basically, one of the things I remember specifically that he was trying to get her to do was act like she was a new neighbor or something, and she was going to bring by coffee, and the coffee was going to have like drugs in it that would kill her or be a sedate, like something to sedate her. And the girl would never follow through. Her name was Crystal, and she was a nurse from Idaho. And like every time it would come time for her to do it, like she wouldn't follow through with it. So
why didn't she go to the police though? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's a psycho. If someone tried to get me to kill somebody, I'm telling. I'm a snitch.
Yeah, I'm definitely snitching, but I hope I would not be in connections with people that would, you know, try to get me to kill somebody. However, I will say that this woman, I think, was so like infatuated with Patrick that I think she would have done anything for his acceptance and attention. It was like a true obsession that she would have just done anything for him. And so he ended up, this is so crazy and it literally gives me chills. He goes to Kelsey's apartment.
I need to Google this.
Blindfolds her. Tells her that he wants her to smell this candle and guess what scent it is. And when he blindfolds her, he ends up beating her to death with the child there. Then he calls the girlfriend or texts the girlfriend and says that she has a mess to clean up. The girlfriend from Idaho drives to Utah, cleans up the mess.
No.
And I mean, I'm thinking that she thinks that this is all normal, or maybe she's so deep into it that she doesn't think it's normal. And she's like scared for herself now too, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but she ends up cleaning it up. And then they end up finding, investigators and stuff, I think ended up finding like a tooth or something at her apartment because it like knocked some of her teeth out. And there was blood splatter. And I don't know to what extent the child witnessed this, if she was in her room, if the child was out there witnessing actually what was going on. But yeah, she cleaned up the crime scene and then, so she is going to, what is it called? Like testify against him in court, and he is charged with first-degree murder, solicitation to commit a first-degree murder, and tampering with a corpse. He had taken her body and hid it somewhere, and then burned her body days later.
I'm just struggling to understand the whole thing. Like, I don't have words, actually.
And supposedly they had been texting, Patrick and Kelsey had been texting, and from what was found on the phones, it was very amicable. They were going to spend Thanksgiving together. He had basically had her completely convinced that, you know, it was like normal. But this has been going on as early as September of 2018 was the first time he tried to get the nurse from Idaho to kill Kelsey.
And she's the girlfriend? She's the fiance?
No, she the nurse from Idaho, I think she was just sleeping with him.
Okay. Okay.
They had known each other from college. This nurse,
and she
had been
never
married.
went to the police. Like, not only is this daughter, this 1-year-old now, is without both parents. Like, you have to be some kind of sick person to sit there and not do anything about that. Like, you're sick.
And what's also sick to me is the fact that he planned all of this stuff. Like, he was even sending text messages, like, after the fact of killing her, he was sending text messages saying, if this is what she wanted, he would just leave her alone and blah, blah, blah. And mind you, this is the girlfriend, the nurse in Idaho, that is texting him back as if she is Kelsey. So,
I can't.
I mean,
I cannot.
It is all so bizarre to me. I can't even imagine. And there's no excuse. Like, why would he feel like he needed to kill her? Just break up. You know what I mean? I don't.
Well, it says on this article that I Googled, it says Berreth's family also claims that Frazee, I don't know who's who.
Yeah, Patrick, Kelsey's family claimed that Patrick.
Oh, that Patrick told them that he and Kelsey had broken up on Thanksgiving Day. And then it says on the 5-page document, the family of Berreth provides a list of alleged statements from Frazee they believe were lies. He allegedly told the family he had communicated with her on November 25th, days after she was last seen in public on surveillance footage. The family also claims Frazee told them he had returned to Kelsey her keys and her gun that were in his possession.
Yeah, he didn't do any of that. And the person that he was texting was the nurse in Idaho, because that was all already planned. She had already picked up the phone.
Well, now the daughter is with the maternal grandparents,
which is where she should be.
Right.
But I mean, I just think it's so sick. I don't understand why, okay, you're doing all of this stuff behind her back. You're technically broken up. Why do you need to go through the lengths to kill her? Like, there's something missing that is not been told yet. There's something there that has not been told yet. People were saying that it's because he didn't want to have to fight like custody for the daughter and didn't want to pay child support. So the easier thing was just to kill her. But I mean, honestly, in this day and time, are you really that stupid to think that you're going to kill somebody and really get away with it?
Get away with it. Right. Like, hello.
I can't. And if you guys have been following the story and you know any more about it than what I have read, obviously, Kail, you need to go and like read all of the things, because there's so much information out there that we don't really have time to cover all of it. But this is just sick, and I pray for this child mostly because
Same.
It's sad. I mean, she doesn't have either of her parents. I mean, thank God she doesn't have him, because obviously he's crazy. But yeah. So anyway, we will keep you guys updated whenever we find out more information. And I'm sure in the coming months, there will be a ton of more information that will come out. I know we've talked about this before, but if you haven't tried HelloFresh yet, now is the time. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so that you can just cook, eat, and enjoy. I know that I've mentioned the pesto chicken with potatoes and salad recipe before, which is my all-time favorite, but they also have tons of great meals that your family will love too. They are seriously so good.
HelloFresh has 3 plans to choose from: classic, veggie, and family, and you can always switch plans if you're in the mood for something else. So it's great if you're in a recipe rut or you don't have a lot of time to worry about what's for dinner. And I know a lot of you are picky eaters in your family, just like mine, so their recipes are meals that everyone will enjoy. I personally love the cauliflower mac and cheese. It's so good. It's my go-to meal anytime I'm in a jam, and my kids eat it too. So that's why we love HelloFresh.
It's also a favorite in our household. So for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, you can go to HelloFresh.com/coffeecombos80 and enter coffeecombos80. Again, for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/coffeecombos80 and enter coffeecombos80. But in other news, everybody is sending us messages, and when I say everybody, I mean everybody is sending us messages to talk about the Jordyn Woods.
Oh, yes.
Scandal.
I knew it was coming, and I was excited. I'm not excited because, honestly, I'm going to tell you my thoughts. And call me fucked up, but it is what it is. A woman sees a woman for who she is, and also I've been in the situation that Chloe is in. I think that Jordyn was wrong. Of course, because I don't know if you saw, but Jeffree Star he has a YouTube channel and he's got like 12 million followers or some bullshit, lives in the same development or something like that, and has seen Jordyn's car going over to Tristan's regularly.
I saw that he was tweeting stuff to Khloe, basically saying like, you need to stop being so naive.
Honestly, that's how I feel. Like, not for nothing, I was Khloe Kardashian. Like, in a situation with a child involved, the whole nine. Khloe looks stupid. She looks stupid. Like, yeah, you can't sit there and blame Jordyn Woods. Was she wrong? Yeah, she was wrong. Of course she was wrong, because Jordyn's loyalty should have lied with Khloe. Yes. However, look at the man you are with. Like, you look at him, look at his track record. You can't, history repeats itself, honestly. Like, and maybe that's me, pot meet kettle, but like, I've been in the situation, so it kind of takes one to know one. I looked stupid and she looked stupid. So to sit there and be mad at Jordyn, to some degree, yes, but also look at the man that you chose.
I mean, I get it, and I just have like a different perspective on it because I haven't been there, you know? So I look at it and I'm like, okay, she has gone out here. Not only did he basically ruin, like, should have been the happiest moment of her life, about to give birth to her first child, but, you know, ruins that. And in good faith, having a good heart, she takes him back and hopes that the situation is going to change. And I feel like, you know, she's kind of kept things under the radar, tries to keep it off of social media as much as possible with being a Kardashian. Right. And I feel like, not knowing her, but feeling like, just watching the situation play out, that she tried to keep things as private as possible, probably trying to work on her relationship. Sure. And then not probably even crossing her mind, Kylie's best friend, for a situation like this to play out. I blame it 100% on Jordyn, because she is a woman. She knows what she should be doing. She should know how to keep herself. She should know how to have loyalty to a family that has given her so much, and basically just rubbed it like shit in her face. I mean, that's not fine.
No, that's not fine. And she was wrong for that. 100%. Do I think that they should be friends again? No, probably not. But also, if it wasn't Jordyn, it would have been someone else. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it just
Jordyn is
more.
not the one that ruined Jordyn is not the one that ruined their family. Tristan is the one that ruined their family. And I have to sympathize to some degree with Khloe, because every single time we stand around and we sit around and we hope that things are going to get better the next time. I've been there. But now it's like, almost like when you're in it, you don't see it that way. You have rose-colored glasses on. You don't see it that way. It's not until you come out of the situation, which I am, that you see it the way that everyone else saw it the whole time. And it's going to hurt. And to be honest, do I think that Khloe and Tristan will get back together? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because it's like a vicious cycle, you know, like it's like once you get in it and then you have a baby involved, people don't understand. Like, I can't relate to a lot of the situation, but what I will say, and what I think a lot of mothers that are listening can really understand, is that when you have a child with somebody, that complicates things to a whole different level, that things that might have been easy to get over without a child involved is one thing. But when you involve a child for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like chemically, if it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's having a child involved that I think would make her continue to chase that dream of the family.
I don't know if it's so much the child, though, because I stuck around for a lot of bullshit before Lux was born. And so I can't credit it to the kid. I just don't know that for my situation. I don't know. I hope that Khloe doesn't stay. I hope she doesn't take him back, but obviously it's none of our business, which is what's happening. I don't think that Jordyn should have went on, what is it called, the red table or the round table with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, it's Red Table Talk.
Red Table Talk. I don't think that she should have done that.
I think that basically everything that she said was a lie, and I think it was just something that she did. It was the only outlet that she could do it that would have sympathy for her with the history of the families that she could go on and basically clear her name to some extent.
But it didn't. That backfired, I feel like.
But you know what? When you're in the wrong and you continue to try to cover your tracks, it will always backfire. That's just the facts. Right. That's real life. That doesn't matter if it's her or anybody else in this world. You do wrong. You continue to try to cover your tracks, and it's all going to come out in the end.
Well, because Chloe tweeted about how, I guess, Tristan is handling it privately. And so I would be curious to see what they're like. Yeah, Tristan might be texting or talking to Chloe like privately about it, but I would be curious to know what his story is versus hers. Like maybe he's telling more truth, but is he telling the whole truth? Is he saying what Jeffree Star said?
Right.
And did you know that they did like an article or something about Jordyn Woods gaining like more than 1 million more followers since like the whole scandal even happened? Like how wild is that?
I mean, I would have hoped that she would have lost 1 million followers. And I don't mean to say that to be mean, but when you're going out here and doing stuff like that, that's just so wrong. And to me, I mean, not that it makes it any better that, not that the situation would be better if there wasn't a child involved, but I'm like, okay, come on. Like she did this knowing that Chloe has a child with this man. It's not just like a boyfriend-girlfriend thing. I mean, not that that makes it any better, but I'm just saying, like, there's a baby involved.
I mean, though, it is fucked up. I just don't place the blame entirely on Jordyn. I do think it's fucked up, but I would be curious to know because poor Kylie, like that's her best friend and that's her sister. But I would go out on a limb here and say that she probably considered Jordyn a sister. So, you know, that's your sister by choice. That's your sister by blood. And now they're essentially ruining a whole situation for some fuckboy who can't keep his dick in his pants and cheats on everybody. He already was on the Shade Room. I think it was yesterday or the day before, flipping the bird off because he was caught by paparazzi with some other girl. Like, are these girls dumb or are they stupid?
No, I think these girls are smart because they know that he's being so heavily followed right now that if anybody's trying to make something of themselves,
it's a business move, right?
They're gonna apparently get him now.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I definitely don't have that. I would never think to do that, but I guess that is smart. If they're trying to make a come up, let's just get seen with Tristan Thompson and quickly you'll go viral and people will wonder who you are.
I mean, Jordyn to me just looks stupid because first of all, the fact that you would even try to cross anybody in that family after what they have done for you. Like you just shot
yourself. Right. You shot yourself in the foot with that one.
You're done. And I did see yesterday on social media, and I don't know how much truth there is because we know about tabloids and partial truths, but, and also lies. But, I did see where she was going to be appearing on Keeping Up to address like the scandal. So that'll be interesting to see.
They allowed that? Because happens. I know like they are the producers of that show, the Kardashians and the Jenners. So like they allowed that?
I'm just going to say if I was the producers of that show and it was already as public as what it was, absolutely I would allow that.
Okay, you guys, let's take a second to talk about how frustrating weight loss can be. I'm going through it right now, and when people get to their ideal weight, they often have trouble keeping the weight off because diets focus on what you can do right now, but when you come off the diet, no one talks about what happens then. So that's why I love Noom.
It's so cool that Noom wants people to learn about their food and their relationship to it instead of just making a list of rules for people to follow. They have one of the biggest food databases, but they also give you a goal specialist who helps you feel empowered instead of shamed. What I liked about the Noom process was that it was very thorough when it was asking questions about me and my personal goals. Everyone is so different, so it's important for me to choose the right plan for me and something that takes into consideration my personal lifestyle. I also liked that it gave little example messages of encouragement when signing up. I thought that was a nice inspirational touch. So anyway.
So we're all so busy, but Noom wants you to devote 10 minutes a day to yourself. That's a little bit of self-care that we could all use. And it's available on your phone or wherever you need it. Think of it as like a weight loss in the palm of your hand, literally. So you'll get to take an easy 30-second online evaluation showing how much weight you can lose and keep off. But what's cool is that they don't only focus on the number on the scale as much as those of the goals of feeling better, sleeping better, and feeling stronger.
Those are things that we can all strive for. Noom is designed for results. Achieve your goals by signing up for your trial today at Noom, Noom.com/coffee. What do you have to lose? Visit Noom.com/coffee to start your trial today. Again, that's Noom.com/coffee. Start losing weight for good.
Okay, so now here's my next question. I did see memes that this was all like
a publicity stunt.
Yes.
I don't believe that at all. Nobody is going through that kind of pain knowing how it happened truthfully right before she gave birth to True. That's not, no. I don't believe that whatsoever.
Okay.
And to be perfectly honest, the Kardashians are going nowhere. So for people to even think that they need to do a publicity stunt is stupid.
Honestly, it's really wild to me. Like, I think they ended Jordyn Woods. Do we think that they ended her career? Like, where is she going to go from here?
I think follower-wise, she is going to gain followers from it. But conversion-wise, as far as monetarily, I think she's done. But while we're talking about relationships, we've received this question several times, and I have major feelings about it, and I don't know how you feel about it because I don't think we've ever talked about it. But people asking us, do we have any advice on living with a significant other at first before marriage? So how do you feel?
I say it's a go. My best friend, Mark, who you've met, he refuses. I feel like this is for me. I'm only speaking for myself. I need to know if I'm able to live with this person and be fully committed in a way that I'm coming home to this person, leaving this person. I'm seeing what their habits are. I'm seeing if they help pull their weight in the house. I need to know all the things before I commit to marrying this person. Like, what if you don't live with them before you get married, and then you get married and they have all these weird habits, or you guys are just not compatible, or you guys, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a yes from me.
Okay. So I grew up knowing that was like a complete no-go, and I would be shunned if that ever happened. And I was, because I did it. And, I don't regret it whatsoever, because I feel like I would have divorced Will for real in the first 3 weeks of living with him had I not lived with him before getting married. Because I feel like you get all of like the little things that you don't realize are going to be like big things. You get rid of all of those before you ever decide to take it to the next level. Right. You know, like the weird habits of brushing your teeth and leaving like toothpaste like dried in the sink. Like, you need to clean up after yourself. You're no longer 5 years old, and that doesn't cut it. Leaving your shitty drawers like laying around, like, no, that's not a thing. There's a hamper. There's a place for that. And me seeing your skid marks, not going to be a thing.
Why do guys have such a hard time wiping their butts? I don't get it.
I'm not sure, but that is why.
Date a girl. You don't have that problem.
That is why I invested in flushable wipes, because
oh wow, that's smart.
I'm not trying to see skid marks in underwear. Like, I'm really not. I don't want to wash those. I don't want to see it. I don't want to sleep with it, you know, like none of those things. And I personally feel like, okay, if you're already having sex with them, then the living part is just like comes along with having sex with somebody. I don't feel like you should be having sex with them unless you're willing to live with them. I do understand.
Right. You can't like, it's kind of like sinning, right? Like, so me and Mark had this conversation, like, okay, so you're willing to sin this way, but not this way. So if you're willing to have premarital sex, but you're not willing to live with, like, I guess I don't understand that.
Yeah. So see, for me, if I was not having sex with somebody, then I don't want to be living with that person, because then that's kind of a little bit weird, you know?
Right.
That's a roommate situation and not really interested in a roommate. So, I can understand if you are not having sex, you're saving yourself for marriage. That 100% makes sense to me. You're not living with somebody. But if you're already, you know, sleeping with them, you might as well go ahead and live with them. Get all of the weird habits, get, you know, all of that stuff, get it out of the way. That way, when you do get married and you come home from your honeymoon, that the weird habit of, you know, leaving dishes in the sink for days with food caked on it, and again, shitty underwear like in the floor in the bathroom, those aren't shock factors to you.
I agree.
Just
I
my personal opinion. All right, let's take a break and talk about what would we do with our extra time if we didn't have to go to the grocery store. Wait in the checkout line and sit in traffic. That stuff takes so much time, and I'd rather be with Jackson or something else that I enjoy. Thanks to Instacart, anytime that you need something at the grocery store, you can just use the app or the Instacart website and have one of their shoppers grab it for you.
And it'll arrive in as little as an hour or at a time that you schedule that's good for you. How convenient is that? And they have all your local grocery stores, drugstores, and chains like Whole Foods available for you to choose from. I recently found out that Instacart delivers to my area, so I plan on using it this week. But I also use Instacart when I travel and I stay, you know, at an Airbnb or whatever, and it's just super convenient, so I'm not eating out all the time.
I am obsessed with it. They keep the hot stuff hot and the cold stuff cold, and they make the whole process super easy so you can spend less time doing grocery shopping and more time doing things that you love.
Try Instacart and get $10 off your first order. To get this limited time offer, go to instacart.com or download the mobile app and enter our promo code COFFEE at checkout. That's $10 off your first order today at instacart.com or through the mobile app. And don't forget to enter our code COFFEE. Instacart.com or through the mobile app and use our code COFFEE at checkout.
And then while we're also on the topic of marriage, I wanted to address something that we've also received a lot of times. And this specific person said, on this week's podcast with Susie, Lindsie said Will's name in her phone was Will Campbell. I've only ever known Lindsie as Lindsie Chrisley and Kail as Kail Lowry, not Mariquin, when married to Javi. Did either of you legally take your husband's last name? In general, what's your take on married lady choosing to keep her maiden name or taking her husband's last name?
Okay, are you going first? Do you want me to go first?
I will go first, and then you can tell your take. I did take Will's last name in marriage, and the reason of me going by my maiden on socials and just like in the entertainment business is because of that's what my bio was on the
well,
website.
It's like a branding thing.
Yeah, it's like a branding thing. On the website, it's all Chrisley's, you know, so that's the reason why. So technically, I am Lindsie Chrisley Campbell. I dropped my middle and kept my maiden and then his last name. I think that it would have been a major deal breaker for Will if I wouldn't have been willing to take his last name, because it would be a thing for him like, okay, well, if you're not willing to take my last name, what's really the point of marriage? And I think a lot of people have that same argument, but a lot of people don't want to do it. And that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not against people who don't do it or, you know, for people who do it. To me, that was just like a natural thing. That wasn't something that I really even thought about, not taking his last name. So yes, technically, legally, I am Lindsie Chrisley Campbell.
I don't give a fuck about it. I literally don't give a shit. I kept Lowry for a branding thing. People know me as Kailyn Lowry, Kail Lowry. That's just what it is. I also, for my own personal self, I basically raised myself. I am me, and I don't feel as though I needed to take on Mariquin. He did feel a certain type of way about it. So at one point I did hyphenate it on social medias for him, but legally never changed it because this is going to sound fucked up. I kind of had a feeling that we weren't going to be together forever. So why would I go through the trouble of, why did I marry him? I don't know. But why would I go through the trouble of changing my last name? But also it's just like not a thing for me because as long as the kids get the last name, which I actually, why did I even start talking? I wish I didn't give Isaac Rivera. I wish I gave him Lowry because Joe and I were not married. But I don't feel bad about giving Lincoln Mariquin because Javi and I were married. But I just don't care. Like, if I got married again and they wanted me to have their last name, I'd be like, okay, cool. So I would do it legally, but then on social media and for the branding side of it, I would keep Lowry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that...
I'm just a clusterfuck, so...
No, but I agree in that sense. Like, for the branding purposes, it makes sense for you to remain a Lowry. Like, it wouldn't make sense because then it's almost like, okay, who is Kim West?
Nobody's Kim West. That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. It's Kim Kardashian.
So, I also feel like, so I know a couple who the woman is so super independent and just like doesn't believe that like she is the property of someone else. So why would she change her last name? So they're actually doing their own, like they're making up their own last name.
Oh, wow. Now, see, that's an interesting play.
Because she wants to keep her last name. He wants to keep his last name. So then they're like, well, what do we do with the kids? So when they have kids in the future, instead of hyphenating two last names, they're just going to all have the same last name.
Okay, if I came to Will with some shit like that, I would have never heard from the man again. Like, ever. God. I would have never heard from him again. I would have been blocked.
I kind of thought it was cool.
No, it's cool, but I'm just saying the type of man that Will is, he would have blocked me and I would have he would have changed his whole pattern of travel. He would have changed everything so that I could have never found him again.
You know what's super irritating? Because, like, I look at my last name and I'm like, obviously that's who everyone knows me as or whatever. But, like, I'm pissed off that my mom gave me my dad's last name. Like, I'm pissed.
Well, you know, there could be worse things like, to be pissed about.
Yeah, I guess. But, like now I'm branded as Lowry and I'm always going to be allowed, like, unless I legally changed it. But then it's, like, pointless now. I'm about to be 27. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, no, so now Lux is Lowry, and it's like I just would have loved to carry on like my mom's last name because even though my mom was shitty, like my mom's family is not shitty, and so I would have rather carried
hers than his that you don't even really know.
Yes. Well, yeah, and I think Isaac Irwin sounds so good. Isaac Irwin.
Old Suze.
Good old Suze, yeah.
I want to tell you about this thing that I saw on social media. And at first I was like, okay, this possibly like is a lie, but also it's possibly the truth.
Oh, good God.
And it's about Florida, of course. The headline is Florida woman arrested for beating boyfriend with frozen pork chop.
Oh, good. Okay.
So apparently she was arrested on battery charges after she beat her boyfriend with a frozen pork chop. And the arrest report said that they were engaging in a verbal argument and she threw a pork chop at the man and he suffered a 1/2-inch cut from the pork chop. So then he leaves the house after the pork chop flew and hit his face, and basically, she was booked on domestic battery charges, which is a misdemeanor, and she was released on a $250 bond. But, like, is it really worth the $250 to slap somebody in the face with a pork chop? Like, I don't really think so.
That is so petty. Like, I'm not going to jail and paying a fine for smacking someone with a pork chop. Like, I'm just not. Wait, I think Jeremy smacked Leah in the face with bacon on a Teen Mom episode.
Yeah, I mean, that would be something that would kind of be funny. Like, I feel like that's kind of funny. But I have a weird sense of humor, you know? So if I was in the kitchen and there was some raw bacon and Will was like caught off guard, I might slap him in the face with a piece of raw bacon or pants him, but I'm not really sure which one it's going to be.
Or pants him.
So I could see that possibly happening in my house, but as a joke and not like aggressively. But I mean, really, pork chops are kind of hard anyway. And then you take the frozen factor in, like that's definitely going to cut somebody because.
Or give them a concussion, either one.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't really care which one it is because I'm not going to be slanging pork chops. But I'm just saying that's kind of a weird arrest and this lady needs to do better, you know?
Why did they call the cops? Like, grow up.
Yeah, like who calls the cops over somebody slinging a pork chop at your face? Because somebody slings a pork chop at my face, I'm going to do more than call the cops. I can promise that.
I'm going to be the cops that day.
Yeah, I'm going to be the cops. And speaking of calling the cops, I almost called the cops on you yesterday.
Why? I had a really rough, not only just my day was rough, my whole freaking week was rough, to be honest.
Can you please walk our listeners through what I had to encounter on my end from you yesterday?
All right. So yesterday was Thursday. I did my typical take the baby to preschool. And then what was yesterday? What's today? Is today Thursday?
You went
Friday?
To Outback and you shit yourself.
No, that's okay. It's not what happened. Okay. Listen, I took the baby to school. We worked out, and then I went to Outback with my friends. And when I got to Outback, mind you, I don't eat before I work out. I just don't. I never have. It makes me sick. So I'm already on an empty stomach. And then when I got to Outback, like I thought I was hungry, but also don't really have an appetite because of the Accutane. So I'm like, let me just get something small. And I like couldn't eat because I started to get bubble guts. But I'm like, I literally haven't eaten. At this point, it was like 12 o'clock. And I hadn't eaten since like 4 p.m. the day before. So I'm confused as to what the fuck is rumbling around when I don't even have anything in my stomach. So then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, my dog has had diarrhea all week. And then now my stomach is starting to hurt. And I'm going to go home and I'm probably going to have to clean up shit, which I did. And also I got diarrhea.
Kail, you're leaving out parts of the story that are very important.
Oh my God, everyone hates me. I hope nobody I know listens to this podcast.
Kail
because I will have no friends.
From Outback, and she said, I'm going to be home in like an hour or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. So then the next thing that I hear is that I'm getting a text from Kail from Outback, but from the restroom of Outback. And she's like, oh, I need to get home so that, you know, we can podcast. We have a lot of stuff to catch up on. And I'm just going to have to like hold my shit until then. And so I'm so confused because I'm like, anybody that has to go to the bathroom like that, there's not like holding it. So why wouldn't you just like blow up the bathroom at Outback, leave, and go home? I'm confused.
Because it wasn't stopping. It just didn't go away.
And now I'm kind of like to the point where this is multiple encounters that I've had with Kail with shits and bubble guts that I'm like, okay.
Do I have IBS?
Does Kail have IBS? 1. Do we need to go and get Depends? 2. And 3, Kail's really messing with my life right now with these shits. So I'm like, you know, this is not fine. The next thing I know, I look down at my phone and I see a text from Kail and it says 1 image. And I never know like what I'm going to get whenever I open it. And I open it up.
It was not my shit. It was not my shit.
It was dog diarrhea shit in a crate.
Oh, my poor puppy. I feel so bad for him.
And then
I'm
not only that, but Kail is confused on how she's going to get the diarrheas out of the crate because her hose will not turn on.
My hose was frozen. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, do me and Bear have a parasite? Like that was where my thoughts went. I don't know why, because I'm like, this is so weird that me and my dog both have diarrhea. So I'm like, this isn't good. Like, he probably has a parasite. He probably brought it in the house. I'm probably going to go on the show Monsters Inside Me. This is going to go viral. No one's going to date me again. Like, what? Like, what is my life?
Oh my God.
Long story short, I'm literally like clenching and taking my dog to the vet at this point. The vet said everything's fine. He probably just ate something. He doesn't have a parasite. We don't know if I have a parasite. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's hope that you don't.
I took Imodium. I drank ginger ale. Like, my stomach was bubbling all night. Never went to poop again. Like, I was fine the rest of the night, but my stomach was still upset. So I was so confused. And then I woke up this morning, felt brand new, drank some coffee, still haven't eaten, and I'm having bubble guts again, but I'm not pooping. So, like, what is going on with me?
I don't know, but you're going to go to an IBS doctor before I get involved with you in LA in 2 weeks, because I can't be in the same vicinity of somebody who's got the bubble guts.
But I'm not shitting anymore. Like, I haven't pooped since 4:00 yesterday.
Because if I hear somebody shitting, I'm immature and I will be laughing.
You'll record it and fucking put it on Instagram.
I will record
Kail,
it.
I'm sorry that you got diarrhea at Outback. And I'm sorry. Wait, how did it go? Kail, I'm sorry for laughing at you the time you got diarrhea at Outback. And I'm sorry for telling everybody about it now. And is that how it goes?
Okay, so
the Mean Girls reference.
I may or may not have posted on Instagram yesterday when Kail didn't know, while she was probably shitting. I put on Instagram, Kail, I'm sorry I laughed at you the time that you got diarrhea at Outback, and I'm sorry for telling everybody about it, and I'm sorry for repeating it now. And because it's just so funny. And I don't mean to laugh at the shits, but it is funny. Like, anytime people have shits or farts, it's funny. So before we wrap up, I have one more thing that I have to tell. And it's going to be quick, but it has to be said. And it's not about a Florida person. It's about a Tennessee person. And
Is it you?
It was not me. It was a man who was accused of dipping his testicles in a customer's salsa. And then he was arrested on felony charges after he dipped his testicles in a container of salsa that a customer had ordered online. So the delivery driver allegedly recorded it and posted the video online, saying that this is what you get when you give an 89-cent tip for almost 30-minute drive. So then news outlets reported that the 31-year-old was arrested last week and charged with adulteration of food. Dinner Delivered said that the food service had fired the driver and forwarded the information to authorities. So, he is pending charges, and we'll see what happens. But I'm assuming that his dick was on fire, because anybody who puts like their balls in salsa would not be a good feeling, I wouldn't think. And two, if I found out somebody stuck their balls in my salsa, I would be so pissed.
First of all, I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I go out to eat and I think that someone may or may not know who I am, I get nervous and it makes me sick. So I like lose my appetite usually. I think about people like spitting in my food. And you know what's crazy? It's wild because it's like, okay, that person posted a video of it, but who the fuck knows what people do to our food? And we don't know. And that's why I like get so grossed out. Like, if someone knows who I am and they don't like me, I don't know what they're doing to it. And so it's really disturbing to think about.
That's why whenever I go through drive-thrus, if I get the wrong thing, I just eat it anyway, because I'm like, they're probably going to like dip their tits or wiener in there, and I don't really feel like eating that. So, I mean, I'm not saying all people that work in fast food, that's giving, them a bad name.
No,
I'm not saying
of course not. But I do it does cross my mind, and it does make me sick sometimes if I think about it while I'm out.
It definitely makes me sick. So anyway, well, I think that's all that we have time for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed our episode of Just Us. That's what you were requesting. So we wanted to be able to give that to you. If you have not followed us on Coffee Convos Podcast on Instagram, make sure you follow us over there. And if you have not subscribed to us, you can do that by searching the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone, typing in Coffee Convos, click subscribe, click the 5th star, and you can also leave us a written review. We love reading those on there. We hope you guys have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.